Twin Cities of and Adam. I was here on time.
I had
Getting started.
I actually felt anxiety.
Technical thingies.
Yeah. In the way.
Not related to things that I did, luckily.
No, those mistakes happened well before kickoff. I'm Jack Thompson. That's Andrew Lee.
Good morning.
That is Lump.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Good morning.
Happy Wednesday to you.
I'm
Happy
excited.
Lump Day.
At 7 o'clock today, Dr. John Spry coming in to talk New Hampshire. Also, representatives from all or most of the presidential campaigns that have a presence here in Minnesota. Jennifer DeJournette with Carly for America. Don Allen, just a fan of Donald Trump.
Big fan of Donald Trump.
I don't think Trump has an organization here. Steve Drazkowski calling in for Ted Cruz.
It is Don Allen. Don Allen is the organization.
I believe that.
Headquartered out of Coon Rapids.
Jeff Johnson. Call again on behalf of the Marco Rubio campaign. Then at 8 o'clock for the Democrat primary reaction, Javier Murillo. And a little mandatory list.
He's a big Hillary Clinton supporter.
Yes.
Who got drubbed. Just drubbed last night. Drubbed.
Is that a word?
That is a word. Look it up.
Really?
Really?
Do you have formal education?
She was homeschooled.
Oy. Oy.
They didn't teach me drubbed in between
I'm sorry
party
I
lessons.
don't speak the language of an old person.
English. He speaks English. Andrew speaks like the rest
I
of
don't
us.
speak old man.
Homeschooled by an illiterate.
That's not very nice. You can pick on me all you want. Don't pick on my mom.
Well, I would have taught you drubbed. If I
Yeah.
were her.
Yeah. Yeah, she got
Hit or
shellacked.
beat
Is that all
someone
right?
repeatedly.
Yeah, how about shellac?
Can I use
Does that work?
shellacked?
Sure.
Does that compute
That
in the
works.
lump brain?
You have permission.
Yes.
And people are out there calling for more lump. You know, we posted yesterday's video.
It's because I make them feel better about
We
themselves.
posted yesterday's video, and the first comment was, "Lump rocks! More lump!" It's like, she barely speaks English.
And for some reason, I'm on the radio.
I
bizarre.
just hired you to push buttons.
You're near the radio. We're on the radio.
I'm actually not near a radio right now.
Boy, they called New Hampshire early last night. I was surprised. I mean, the polls closed at, 7 o'clock our time? And by 7:05, I'd gotten the breaking news email where they'd called it for both Sanders and Trump. I went and looked at the live results. Less than 2% of the precincts had reported. I was a little shocked. I mean, and I followed and reported on lots of elections. I know how they do the exit polling. I understand how it works, but still, it always comes as a surprise, even when they get called that quickly.
Yeah, and I don't understand how and why they do it that way. After 2000, the networks were all wrong.
And they all admit we learned our lesson.
We're going to change how we do that. And
won't
then
make that mistake again.
they immediately called the winners of the 2002, 2004, 2006 election in December of 2000. Learned nothing.
I don't understand the voting process.
That's
Nor the word drubbed.
yeah.
Nor the word drubbed. No.
When and this screws me up every time we have any type of election night show. In 2000, when I was working on Senator Rod Graham's reelection campaign, they called it at like 8. And we were driving around kind of finishing up the working part, heading over to the quote-unquote victory party. We were in the car,
Yeah.
a buddy of mine, and I was like, 8 o'clock, good. Mark Dayton wins.
All the work.
Like,
all
what?
the work that you've done.
What?
Months and months and months of work. And then finally election day is here. Polls closed. Here we go.
Yeah.
So what a empty feeling that must be.
Yeah,
just
I would rather,
to be
like,
have
they
it all
came to me and beat me up. Something just more to it. But that has tainted every election night since then. Every time we have to do like now that it's radio, like, well, so we'll go on. We'll have the results at 8, right? And we're like, no, 10, 2 in the morning.
maybe the next day.
Who knows? Who knows?
Sometimes it takes that long.
So last night they called it early.
Called it super early. Trump took the Republican side handily, as was predicted by a lot of people. If you looked at the polls, he'd been ahead in New Hampshire for a long time. Sanders had been ahead in New Hampshire, but I think people are surprised at how wide the margin of victory was for Sanders. I think they expected it to be the expectation was that Sanders would win, but not necessarily by that much. So there's going to be some regrouping and re-strategizing going on in the Clinton camp in the coming days. We've got 2 weeks approximately till a little over 2 weeks
Till her indictment, or
until she's in prison.
Okay.
Or the South Carolina primary.
Okay.
South Carolina and Nevada are the next two, and then we get the big Super Tuesday on March 1st that Minnesota is a part of.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a bump Bernie Sanders or anybody from Vermont would get when you're competing in a state that 75% of the population, when looking at a map, confuses with the state you're from. There might be some type of advantage.
Yeah, most people in New Hampshire aren't sure whether or not they live in Vermont.
Yeah.
From what I understand, recent polling.
And if you look at the two states,
You ask them, it takes them a minute, and they go, wait,
where am I right now?
hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I'm in New Hampshire.
Vermont actually looks like a V. Or I've got that flipped. I don't know. But they're not Maine. They're not Maine.
That's actually Vermont's slogan on their license plates.
Not Maine.
Vermont, we're not Maine.
Thank goodness.
Near Maine. We're near Maine.
But not Maine.
We're not Maine.
Definitely not Maine.
Isn't the New Hampshire slogan live free or die?
They're changing it, actually.
They have to.
Live free or...
Not free.
Maybe not, if you don't want to.
Or in shackles under oppression.
Live free or nominate statists.
Yeah.
Maybe. Whatever you want. It's fine. It's New Hampshire.
I think tomorrow, depending on how much time I have to do it today, but we should really define socialism. And I'm sure while researching this, I'll learn some things myself because I'm no expert. But it blows my mind that in this country, Bernie Sanders, man who identifies himself as a socialist, is even in the conversation.
Doing as well as he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty stunning.
Wouldn't history have... I don't know.
I think, there are a number of things you can attribute to Bernie Sanders' support, and I think we would be doing him and his supporters a disservice if we didn't, at least honestly acknowledge, a lot of what draws people to him. And I think what a part of it is...
Envy?
No,
Greed?
I think, there's that.
Free stuff.
There's that. But the nature of what draws somebody to a Bernie Sanders is not terribly dissimilar to the nature of what draws somebody to Trump. I think people are frustrated.
Brain injury?
I think people are frustrated and tired of
Thinking?
polished politicians who give stump speeches, who engage in platitudes, and they value and respect at least perceived authenticity. And you have that with Sanders. You have that with Trump because they don't follow any script. They speak off the cuff. They say things that other politicians wouldn't say or wouldn't dare to say or would typically be presumed detrimental to a politician's chances of getting elected.
But it's more like a drunken bridesmaid giving a speech at a wedding reception. Nobody sits back and says, I respect her honesty, her authenticity, all this nonsense she's spewing. Or he. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're gonna have a second installment of our segment Andrew's Kids, where we bring people who are under 25 years old to tell us what young people are thinking. And there have been a few of these videos floating around of the interviews on college campuses with basic American history, who won the Civil War, and people don't know it. It might just be it's a stupid country.
Well,
That's what we got now. It's a
Yeah.
stupid country. I recommend renting the documentary Idiocracy. Yeah. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Andrew, what's the top of the news bag?
not only election results out of New Hampshire, but there were a couple elections here in Minnesota yesterday. Special elections.
A little up and at 'em bump.
A little up and at 'em bump. That's right. So we will. I'll give you the results of those. And Governor Dayton made some big news yesterday as well.
All that.